Smoked meat.
No chemicals or preservatives, just 100% honest to goodness hickory smoked meat.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Boy, some chicken wings would really hit the spot.
You ain't got no better food, like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
That's just two guys talking, am I right? We're just talking.
Hey, howdy, hey. I don't know. I was trying something new, and
That was spicy.
I hated it as soon as it came out, I'll be honest.
Talk about habaneros, Mike.
My bad. Yeah, we were just talking about scarred sphincters from habanero peppers, and I must have just been shooting that out in preparation for our chili episode, which I think we're going to hold off on until we've got some pretty good stuff on.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
We just... We haven't quite had good chilly weather yet.
Right. It's still too hot. It was 80 degrees today, wasn't it?
At least.
81. Screw that, John. We're like into October. It's not like it's just extended September anymore. It is October. So
Yeah, it's practically mid-October at this point.
yeah, true that. Halloween is upon us. Well, anyway, welcome to the #1 barbecue podcast in the United States of America. Listen, North Carolina, most of them's underwater right now. No disrespect to them, but that's probably where all the really good podcasters were. So we're going to take the win.
I don't even know what to say there. I feel like we're going to get canceled.
Yeah, that's true. That was hearts go out to them. Seriously, they're probably not a good thing to joke about because they are struggling through some serious stuff.
Yeah, talk about wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching one thing where a guy was talking about the 40-year-old barn literally just got washed away.
Ugh.
And this isn't on the coast. So it's not like you could see the ocean. And it was like, oh, well, yeah, duh, you're going to have storm surge. Like, no, like, it just washed it away.
It was. I saw something that is like several trillion gallons of water just dumped.
Yeah.
Like, not, like you said, not on the coast, but inland, in the mountains, like, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I want to keep talking for a minute, Mike.
Okay.
I'm going to fact check myself before I say this.
Well, now I just feel really bad that I made a joke about it because that was in very bad taste. So I'd like to apologize to the world because I know you're all listening. But we did talk about doing a chili podcast. I think we're going to hold off till the weather gets a little bit better. And I think you'll like what we have in store for today. I think it'll be kind of fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad I looked at this because I was off slightly. An Olympic swimming pool holds between 600,000 and 700,000 gallons of water. So if we're talking about trillions of gallons,
Yeah.
call it 500,000 for easy math, right?
Yeah.
That's 2,000 Olympic swimming pools for 1 trillion, right?
Yeah.
No, that's 1 billion.
Yeah. You're right. It would be
It's like
2 million.
You're a math teacher. Shouldn't you be able to do this in your
Dude,
head?
I'm off the clock. I'm not thinking right now.
Anyways,
It's a lot.
I think it's 200,000 for 1 trillion. Anyways, that is a crap ton of water. And most of our listeners are here in Utah or in other parts of the world where I don't know that it's quite as common as it is in the Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
Trailer parks are everywhere, like mobile homes.
Oh, yeah.
So not homes that are cemented into the ground,
Right.
anchored, not going anywhere. Like, these are homes that are literally sitting on semi-trailers.
Dude, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Like,
Jeez.
when you talk about a whole bunch of water coming through, like, that's a super destructive force.
Yeah.
And because Florida's so lucky, they're going to do it again this week.
Oh, right. How would you like to do that? Let's just keep prepping. What a crazy place to live. I teach this math and personal finance class, and we were talking about homeowners insurance last year. And Florida's like, we can't give you flood insurance anymore. We can't afford to insure your home. Like, I don't know what you want to do. So these bigger companies are like, crap. So
Yeah, it's like
just crazy, man.
this is a known issue. Like, if you buy here, you know you're going to get flooded.
Right.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Totally wild.
That is crazy.
Oh.
Crazy.
So, yeah, hearts and prayers go out to those guys.
Yeah.
Stay safe, Florida. This episode will go live right as Milton.
Right as it hits.
Yeah, right as the
man.
total craziness comes out. So.
Shoot. Well,
On to, man, this is a bit of a downer
No
episode.
kidding.
I was going to
It's,
say on to bigger and better, or happier times, but we're talking about fails today.
BBQ Fails.
That's a great announcer voice,
Yeah,
Mike.
thanks. I've been working on it. I announced the football games. I've learned a lot about what I don't like to hear myself do. So
I was going to say, do you get up there and when they miss a pass, fail?
Fail.
That'd be horrible.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Should just start quoting Adam Sandler movies at him.
Man, am I glad I called that guy.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, BBQ Fails.
I can quote Billy Madison for the rest of the night.
Absolutely. This episode will now just be Billy Madison quotes.
Come here, Mr. Penguin.
It's too hot for a penguin. I need to rewatch that. I don't think I've seen it since. I mean, when I was like 11, I think we watched that in my buddy's basement every day for like 2 years, I swear. Like, I knew it inside and out. A lot of the jokes went over my head, now I'm realizing, but I need to watch it again.
The things our parents let us watch.
Right? Bless their hearts.
I'm sure my mom didn't want me watching it, but I watched it over and over again. Yeah, so we haven't done this in a while. We're going to do a quick shout out here to a new account that we've found in preparation for this episode. Let me get it flipped over.
I like that. You see that?
Here we go.
It said no negativity. This is a fun page. So, not throwing shade at people, but there's a lot of funny stuff on here.
Yeah. So this is a funny page. It is BBQ Fails on Instagram, and it's just a compilation of videos.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with this one, and I need to make sure the sound is on for this.
And we'll try to
Listen to this cut.
Listeners. Oh, John. This is a brisket, everybody.
Yes. For those of you listening in, that crunching noise was someone slicing into a freshly cooked brisket. It is beyond jerky.
Oh my gosh, man. That's so depressing.
Have you I'm going to mute this here and we'll just let it run. Let them rack up the plays here.
Heck yeah.
For a minute. Have you ever done this to a brisket?
I have not. I've been really close. Like, I dried one out once for sure. It wasn't quite this bad, but
I don't. Mine probably wasn't this bad, but it was in the same neighborhood,
yeah.
and I have no idea what. Still to this day, I don't know what.
Oh, really?
happened.
So nothing crazy or?
Nope. I put it on just like I had. You know, it was early on in my brisket days, but like I had done 6 or 7 briskets, and they were fine. I put it on at midnight, just like I always had, and I woke up in the morning to a meteorite.
That's crazy. Huh.
And like the grill wasn't too hot. Like I was.
No big spikes or anything, huh?
I mean, I don't know if it spiked in the middle of the night, but like it was running right at 180, like I had set it to.
Jeez.
But it was so bad.
That sucks. Yeah, when I did it, so I did it when I was using my offset in that competition I did, and I was trying to get my chicken thighs, and you cook those at a much higher temperature. And I was trying to do everything on one grill, which is so dumb. Like, I don't know why I was trying to do that. But the brisket was on there when I cranked it up to like 300. And so when I went to cut it, I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, there were some salvageable parts, but it was probably the worst brisket I've ever done.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer.
So, one of the things we wanted to do as we talk about these fails is like, what do you do if you get to this point? Like, if it goes this far, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
But if you get there and you realize, you mean to wrap it at 160 and you get there and it's 185, like, you've got a couple of options. If you miss the stall, you miss the wrap. One, you can still wrap it.
Yeah.
Like, the point of the wrap is to break it out of the stall and to
give it a little crutch or a boost.
help it get past that stall where it flatlines. But it can also add some moisture to it.
Yeah.
So if you feel like it's getting dry, wrap it up, stick it in. All right, I can't do this anymore.
I think
transition back
when
here.
you
We'll
wrap
go back.
it, you add a lot of moisture to it to kind of help out with that as well.
Yep. So you can still do it. The other thing you can do is just let it go. If it's looking like it's not dried out, you've got a good bark on it, but it's still got some play to it.
No wrapping then.
You can go without a wrap.
Yeah.
I
think there's a lot of hardcore purists that never wrap anything, and I'm sure it turns out great.
So, and then the last thing that you got me hooked on this, Mike, and I will continue to do this until the day I die, I think. When you pull it off to rest, wrap it in saran wrap.
Yeah.
Lock every ounce of moisture that piece of meat has back into it.
Yep.
Keep it in there, and so while it's resting, and I wrap mine still, like I wrap in butcher paper to cook it, and I wrap the wrapped brisket in saran wrap.
Yeah, so there's no unwrapping to wrap. It's just wrapping it around what comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And that keeps your cooler clean, too.
Yeah, it does.
Resting it in.
Yeah, and
So, pro tip.
plus, I'm pretty sure it's kind of like Mary Poppins' bag.
Yeah.
I bought one of the big things of saran wrap at Sam's Club like 10 years ago. It's 3,000 square feet. Jeez. It's never ending, bruh. Like 10 years later, like it's not like I wrap it once or twice. Like I wrap it once this way, or sometimes twice this way if it's too long. Like if it's too wide of a brisket, sometimes you got to do two, and then you do it the long way. Then you go back and you do it back the other way, and then you do it again. Like I put like a 1/4 inch of wrap around it. Like ain't nothing coming out of that thing, and my saran wrap is still there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I need to get a big wrap of that. But seriously, and that helps it retain the moisture, retain the heat. Like I just think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So let's go back to our fails page here.
Okay.
Make sure we've got that up so everyone can see it. This is when I've seen this. I don't know how many times.
This one's so sad.
This is heartbreaking.
So guy's on an angled driveway.
Gets into his truck, and he's got it's a Century 34 Traeger grill sitting there. And he moves his truck. Well, the grill was against it, so the grill starts rolling, hits the wife's car, falls over. He gets out of the truck to stop the grill, and the truck keeps going like it's still in drive.
Oh, so he's got to run and get the truck. The smoker has fallen over, bashed into his wife's truck. Oh my gosh. Oh, I thought he had his door open and he was backing up into his garage or his driveway. I wondered if he was going to Tommy Boy the door.
Oh man,
that would have been funny.
The words that I can only imagine were said there.
Nothing good.
Yeah. Moral of the story: just don't.
Yeah.
Use the brakes. Yeah. And the worst part about this is, I can already hear Haley. And guys, Haley is the nicest person on earth. There is not a single bone of malice in her whole body. But I can hear her like coming out, my heart being broken because one of my grills is like destroyed, and her just going, "My car!"
Oh shoot, that's too bad. Dang it.
Yeah. So don't let that happen to you.
Yeah, I don't know how. We don't have any pro tips for fixing that. You just got to. Yeah.
Where is? Okay, Mike. Here you go.
Yes.
You are the king of the barrel cookers.
Oh, I don't know if I'm the king, but I do enjoy them.
Yeah.
I haven't used mine for a while. I need to bust it out again.
This is a. This is a pit barrel cooker. Looks like it's probably the junior, based on the size here. But let's. I'll let you do the play-by-play.
All right, I'll do my very best. So,
do you want the music on this one?
I don't know. I've never heard them. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
No, it's fine. It'll be loud if you're going to do play-by-play. Here we go.
So, guy is reaching into this barrel with tongs, lids off it, pulls out a beautiful thing of beef ribs and drops it right into the fire basket. So, then he goes, fishes them out. They still look great. Like, I'll be honest, that still looks amazing.
Yeah, the bark's a little torn up, but otherwise it's not bad.
Oh, man, those look good. But the funny part is he goes to pull it out, obviously having somebody film it for this big reveal, and it slips off the tongs through the hooks and right into the fire basket.
Yeah, the camera's like going crazy.
Yeah, so quick thinking on his part, getting it out of there, because can you imagine if that would have happened like mid-cook? Oh.
Yeah. Well, so, and on the pit barrel, they're big on hanging stuff.
Yeah.
In there. You and I both typically cook on a grate in our drums.
In the drums, yeah.
And where this guy screwed up in my mind is he goes to grab the meat instead of grabbing the hook.
Yeah, why would you not grab, because the hook is, maybe he thought it was so tender that the hook would rip through it, but
it's hanging by the hook. Like the hook is
yeah,
solid.
that's true. It's not going anywhere.
And it, like, meat's slippery.
Yeah.
Like, don't kid yourself. Like, meat's got a lot of juice and fat and stuff rolling down it. On the pit barrel, they actually have this really cool dowel that has an eyelet at the end of it that you can hook, like, slip over the hook and then just lift it by that dowel.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I would recommend that. Those tongs were not.
That, or at least go with
not
two
ready.
sets of tongs.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, my hands have gotten worse as, like, my carpal tunnel's gotten bad. But that's a lot of meat to be trying to hold on to with one set of flimsy barbecue tongs.
For sure.
So he saved it. That looks good. I would have been happy to be invited over to that one.
Absolutely, I'd have eaten it. Give it a little charcoal taste.
All right. I feel like we have to do one of these.
Yeah. This is probably, I would say, I mean, just from what I've seen as I've looked through it quick, this is probably the most common issue on the BBQ Fails. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. The barbecue catches on fire.
He's taking stuff off, and it's still on fire.
Yeah. So this guy looks like that's a pit
Looks
boss.
like a Yoder, doesn't it?
No, it's got I think it's a pit boss.
Oh, when he closed the lid, I thought it looked Yoderish.
We'll see when he closes it. But it's got a see-through hopper and that mushroom cap on the smoke.
I think
Makes me
you're
think
right.
it's a pit boss.
I think you're right.
But anyways, the grill's going, and I am willing to bet that the grease tray had not been cleaned ahead of this. Anytime you're going to do a hot cook, and even if it's not that hot, if you've got enough grease on your tray, it will catch and it'll light.
Yeah. Well, and even if you haven't cleaned it, when I did, so I threw 6 or 8, I can't remember which, butts on my Grilla one year, and the grease system could not keep up. Like, it was just pooling in there. And I caught it, luckily, and kind of figured it out and kind of cleaned it out a little bit at mid-cook. But had I not, I think it would have backed up and caught on fire, and then it would have been a huge issue.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the one that I was watching earlier on here. But it was really starting to smoke hard. And it flashed back on him.
Oh, really?
That when he opened it...
The extra oxygen or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
This isn't it, but it's just another great example. Like, keep your grills clean.
Uh-huh. Don't overcrowd them.
And when it does go, you've got a couple of things you can do. If you're right there, get the food off.
Yep.
Because flames are not your friend when you're cooking. This one you can actually see really good when he closes this. Look how black the smoke is.
Right. Sooty, nasty.
Like it's just nasty in there.
Well, and the important thing is close the lid. Like,
yeah. The trick here is this one's a great example. Like, look how dark this smoke is.
Sooty smoke.
Yeah, your food's going to taste like crap. So get the food off if you can.
Uh-huh.
If it's already up in flames, like your food's gone. Give it up.
Yeah.
Close it. Shut off the gas. If it's charcoal, close all the vents that you can. Mm-hmm. At this point, we're trying to starve it from oxygen, right?
Yep.
No oxygen, no flames.
Yep.
Don't throw water on it.
Yeah.
Water and grease fires are a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told this my entire life, right?
Yeah.
My whole life. Like, I know that you don't put water on petroleum-based fires.
Right.
Right after we moved into this house, our microwave is above our stove.
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of people are familiar with that.
Pretty
over
normal.
the range. And we had this plastic microwave cover that pulled out, set on top of the stove, heated up some hot fudge or something, and the kids were like down asleep. Haley and I had come down into the basement. We were watching a movie, and we hear the smoke alarm start to go off.
Shoot.
And we go running up the stairs. The whole house is like filling with smoke, and the stove is on fire.
Oh my gosh.
One of us had left those like little simmer burners on low all the way, so you couldn't even see the
you can't
flame.
even tell those unless the
But
lights
it
are
sat
off.
there long enough. It melted down this plastic cover. The plastic ignited.
Oh my gosh.
And we had flames going. And like an idiot, I grabbed a cup of water and threw it on the stove. Bad idea.
Man.
The fire just went everywhere. So what do you put on it, Mike? Pop quiz.
I'm a baking soda guy.
Yep.
Big fan of that.
Baking soda is probably the best. It's relatively easy to clean up.
Yep.
You can control where it goes, and it will smother the flames. Don't use flour or sugar.
Oh, that's a good point. I have seen salt used before, and it worked okay.
You can use salt.
Yeah.
But flour...
That's...
Flour...
Oh,
well,
dude.
and it's right there. Most of the
Yeah.
time, it's on the counter in a jar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flour and sugar are both flammable.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
If you don't know that, take a handful of flour out to your next campfire and just toss it safely and see what happens. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
So make sure it's baking soda. Salt does work.
Yeah.
If you have to, use a fire extinguisher. Fire extinguishers go everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It's a big mess, I've heard.
Yeah. It's shooting a powder.
Yeah.
So just like the baking soda. So
Also,
but all of this transfers out to the grill. Like
yeah.
if you really have a fire, don't use water on it. You're way better off using baking soda.
Or hopefully it's away from anything flammable, like in the middle. You can just shut everything down, baking soda it if you try to save something, but
Yeah, if you lose some grass, you lose some grass. Like
Yeah.
that's way better than losing your house or you're getting
Right.
yourself hurt.
exactly.
So
My brother was deep frying some corn dogs in well, I guess I shouldn't have said my brother. Somebody I know was deep frying some corn dogs in the church kitchen one day with his YSA friends from the Young Single Adult Ward. They were in the church kitchen. They wanted to make some homemade corn dogs. So they were heating up the oil, and he opened the lid to the oil, and it just caught on fire. He's like, I've been taught everything. I know what you should do. But in that moment, a million things flashed through his mind, and he just picked up the pot of hot oil and ran it outside. And he had bad, third degree, I don't know if it's third degree, but bad
I bet
burns
it was third degree.
all over his arms from running that oil out. It was, dude, it just made you sick to, he had to go down to the burn center and get it scrubbed off, and oh man, it was rough. So don't play around with the grease fires. And he was like, dude, in hindsight, all I had to do was put the lid back on. It would have smothered the fire. I could have turned everything off. We would have been fine. But anyway, so have a plan for fires because, if you're left to your own devices, you forget everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can totally relate to that because same thing, my whole life, I know what to do. I have taught classes on fire safety, and I still did something stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, one last one, and then I think you've got a couple, I've got a couple we can talk about. Let's cut back over here. This is one, I don't know how, maybe you can see some of this when you're trimming or when you're getting it.
Uh-huh.
Wait for him to pick it up. You see those white globby things in there?
Yeah, what is that?
Those are cysts.
No.
In a brisket.
No, that's disgusting.
It's
brisket
cysts? You can see it right here. This next piece that he cuts, you can really see it.
Oh
right
my
there.
goodness. That is disgusting. How do you know? There's no way to know that that's there until you cut it, right?
Yeah, until you cut it, I don't know. Maybe you could feel something.
Oh my gosh.
But I doubt it. I'm going to get off of that because it's gross.
How common is that?
It's pretty rare.
Oh.
But it's one, USDA does a really good job testing meat and trying to check on things. But realize most of these animals are prone to disease just like we are, especially the mammals. They can end up with cancer, they can end up with cysts. If you see something really funky like that in the meat, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Throw it away. Go to In-N-Out.
But that's so sad, though. You work so hard and you spend so much on a brisket.
It really looked like a decent brisket. Yeah. But if you buy it at Sam's or Costco, all you got to do is go back and be like,
yeah, that's true.
Here's pictures. I didn't think you'd want it back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Those are some fails to be on the lookout for.
I've never seen that before. That makes me sick.
I've seen it in game animals more.
Yeah.
I've seen cancer in a deer. I've seen weird stuff in birds, but I've never seen it in a brisket like that.
Man,
that was nasty.
That is crazy.
So, antibiotics. Don't be afraid of them.
Oh. All right. Story time from us.
Yeah. What
do you want to share yours or do you want me?
Go for it.
Well, I got a short one. We're talking about game animals. I had some elk steak that I was really excited to try. And I've read all these things about wild game. If it's super gamey, I have a hard time just psychologically. It's not that I don't enjoy the taste. I just kind of... So I was trying to make it taste good like a regular beef steak or something like it. So I put it in a saltwater bath. And that's supposed to kind of draw... I don't know if it's draw the blood out or what, but it's just supposed to kind of tame it down a little bit.
I'd never heard saltwater before.
Yeah.
I've known yogurt or milk and but
yeah.
Okay.
See, I've used the saltwater and I've done it a couple times and it was successful. But I take it out of that, wash it off, and then I put it into a marinade. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll just marinate. It's going to be like teriyaki steak. Really excited. Well, we didn't end up eating it that night. And then we didn't end up eating it the next night. And part of me knew, but most of me was like, this will be great. Like, this has had so much time to soak in those flavors and stuff. I went to cook this steak, and it was, I mean, it literally fell apart. Like, and not in a good way. Like, it was disgusting.
Like while you were cooking
Yeah,
it?
like how much it had broken down. It was, I mean, I tried to pull it out with tongs, and it just ripped apart. Like, it was so bad.
Teriyaki will do that.
I had over-marinated what was, I mean, it was backstrap on my elk, and I'd had a lot of it. I was excited to try this. And
Yeah.
so when they say marinate overnight, they don't mean for a week,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and I think part of it depends on the marinade too. Like
That's
teriyaki is super acidic. It's got a lot of pineapple and stuff
Right.
in it. Pineapple will destroy meat.
Yeah, it'll rip it apart.
Yeah.
Yep. Your turn. Yeah, it was sad.
I think mine, I mean, I've told the story on here a couple of times at least before, but very first thing I ever tried to smoke were pork shoulders. Big family event. Lots of people coming over. Damn Brink.
Brinkman.
The damn Brinkman.
That's right.
What's the name of the guy in the Red Sox?
Which one?
Have you ever seen the movie Fever Pitch?
Yes, but it's been so long.
Anyways, there's somebody who screws up that was a really bad player, and he plays this movie on a loop, like with like this like almost entertainer type music in the background that every time I say damn Brinkman, like I think of that. Anyways, sorry. This is what goes on in my head.
It's
everybody.
a terrifying
It's
place
a terrifying
inside our
place.
heads, guys.
I'd been up since like 3 a.m. trying to stoke this fire, like the whole day, like trying to balance helping Haley get ready for her whole family coming over and like trying to watch us meet, and it sucks so bad. And it just wasn't done. Like I was bending stainless steel forks trying to shred this thing. And Haley's family, bless their hearts, like they all ate it. They were good sports. I don't remember anyone saying anything mean to me. Because I know I would have said something mean when I got in the car and been like, why did we let him
Why
cook?
did we do that?
We drove 2 hours.
How many pigs had to die just so that could be so disgusting?
Just one, thank you very much. But anyways, like time, like barbecue is it's a labor of love and patience. Give yourself lots and lots of extra time.
If you have to rest it extra, it's not a big deal. Like, plan to be done early.
Yeah. And like that's one of the things that I've learned, like the longer you let them rest, sometimes the better they get.
Oh, absolutely.
I was talking to a friend last week that like said that exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always allow at least 2 hours. Like that's where I plan on a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But if they go for 6 or 7 hours, like a brisket or a pork shoulder, man, they just like, they turn into butter.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And it doesn't take much to keep them in the safe zone when they're resting. Like, it really doesn't. A cooler, a couple towels, they can stay there for
Forever.
a long time.
Yeah. So, you know what I've started using?
What?
Styrofoam coolers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, like, just
So I've gotten lucky. I know some people that like to order Omaha steaks.
okay.
I don't.
Right.
I don't have rich people money.
Sure.
But they ship their stuff in these like 1.5 to 2-inch thick styrofoam coolers.
Okay.
So I just get the cooler when they're done.
Oh.
And it's great because I still wrap it. I still put a towel in there. If it leaks a little bit, I can wipe it out. But if it turns into like a huge mess,
Chuck it. That's a good idea. See, I've seen, like, Malcolm Reed will use the party stackers and stuff, or like just kind of cheap coolers.
yeah.
I like the idea of a styrofoam cooler.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well the like grocery store styrofoam would work. I don't see why it wouldn't work well.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, I've got party stackers too. I love them.
See, I just have a couple of coolers and one that's shaped just perfectly to put a brisket in.
Nice.
Or you can stack them on top. But I'd like to get the party stackers. I think they'd be really nice. And there's not just all that dead space up top. Party stackers are kind of shorter.
It is the
and
perfect.
wider, right?
Yeah, it was designed to put a 24-pack of soda in.
Okay.
Like not the Pepsi ones that are two layers of cans on top of them, but the old Coke ones.
Yeah.
You can set a 24-pack down perfectly inside of
I
there.
don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That way, you don't need 50 towels to fill up all the dead space.
But it's great. You can get 2 briskets in one of them. You can get 3 or 4 pork shoulders. And yeah, they just seal up and you can stack a bunch of them. And
I'm on board.
yeah, I'm a big fan of the party stacker. I love coolers, man. There are like some things that I can just spend money on. Coolers are one of them.
Do you have any Yetis?
I don't have any Yetis. Because again, I don't have that kind of money. I've got.
I just want to know if they were worth the hype. I've heard so many good things, but
I've got a couple of Arctics,
oh yeah, that's right.
and I'm a big fan of my Arctics.
You like those ones? Do you notice a huge difference between those and like a Coleman? Okay.
Yeah, it'll hold ice for a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have a Lifetime that kind of locks the same
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
and it does pretty well. But I'd be curious to see if, and I don't really care if it holds up to a bear, but I'd be curious to see how well the Yetis work in comparison to that, and if they're really worth the money. But I'm sure there's a bunch of comparison videos on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my Arctic's fallen out of the back of my truck before, and
Still good, huh?
can't even tell. So,
Sweet.
alrighty. Any other embarrassing stories before we wrap this up, Mike?
No, I mean, I've talked very similar to your story. I did ribs on my drum right after I built it. It was amazing. So I invited all the in-laws over, and I think my family too, and tried to cook them.
Worlds Collide party?
The worst. Yeah. It did not work. And everything was... they were fine, but they weren't tender. And I was just like, this is not... and the same thing. Everybody's so nice, and they weren't rude or anything, but I was so disappointed in myself, so...
Yeah.
But
Time can be your biggest enemy.
yep. And maybe give yourself a little practice before you invite everybody you know.
Before you get a brand new cooker and decide to help cook for
Just send it.
250 people.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I forgot about that one.
I haven't.
That should be.
You have
on
no
there.
idea how much love in my heart it took to give you those pork shoulders that night instead of just being like, dude, you were going to screw this up.
They were fine.
They were great. They were fantastic. I was terrified.
That was the best. I need to break that bad boy out again.
I know. I've got to use mine too.
Well, John, hopefully chilly weather is upon us, and then we can talk chili.
It's coming. I think we've got a couple of weeks.
I think you're right.
Hey, we're gonna do this live and uncensored
Oh,
because that's just how we go.
I like it.
We've been talking about doing another live episode.
Yes.
What if we did a Thanksgiving planning episode?
Oh, you're really into the Thanksgiving planning.
I
Yeah.
love Thanksgiving.
I like it.
Like, I'm a little disappointed. I love Haley's family, but it's their year, which means I'm not in charge of cooking. Which means...
Well, they did have a bad experience with the damn Brinkmans.
It's been like 15 years, Mike.
Well, I'm still in trouble for not getting the 7-layer bean dip at the Super Bowl one year, so,
I just... I love, man, Thanksgiving dinner. Like, that is a special time in my heart.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
I
what do you
like that
say?
idea. I like that a lot.
We can do that. We can do some live Q&A as we go through it. Maybe have folks share what they're into.
Yeah, maybe hit us up in the comments on YouTube about anything that you'd want us to talk about as far as Thanksgiving planning, things you're planning, things that you want to chat about, things you want us to do a little research on. That could be cool to get a little interaction. So,
And I think a lot of people get scared of doing Thanksgiving.
yeah.
on the Traeger because they're like, I don't want it to be all smoky.
Right.
We've been over this several times. Clean your grease tray. At 350 degrees, it's just an oven.
Yeah, that's all it is. And honestly, once you do it this way, you'll never go back. Like, once I smoked a turkey...
Well, I'm not even talking
just
about,
so
like,
good.
true smoking a turkey. I'm just saying, like, you've got a whole nother oven.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's true. That's true. Pies and everything
Pies,
that you've
potatoes.
done on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you can.
I like that idea.
You can load a smoker up with potatoes and do baked potatoes in mass quantities in that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
All
right, hit us
We'll do
up
it.
in the comments, and we will get a date out on the IG. I don't know if that's what the cool kids call Instagram or not.
I don't know.
I'm worried
I
that
give up on
kids
the cool
like
kids.
think Instagram is like Facebook now, and
Yeah, I think it's getting there.
only old people are
It's
on
TikTok and Snapchat, and Visco is coming back. So
it. Visco. I know
who knows? Jeez.
We're gonna end on this note, but you know what trend's coming back, Mike? Girls wearing big baggy sweatpants.
Oh,
Haley and I were out the other day, and I was like, "What is going on? I feel like I'm back in high school
it's
all
happening.
over again."
Oh, jeez. We've lived long enough to see our trends come back full circle.
Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
We're Fat Guys with Smokers. Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.